Hello, today is October 8th, 2019. This is the standard C cluster lifecycle call. I will share my screen here. And hopefully folks can see my screen. Yeah. All right. If you could add your details to the attending list up above, that'd be useful. As part of the standard call for the larger call, there's a couple of PSAs. I have one PSA, and if other folks have other PSAs, please feel free to add them. The first PSA that I wanted to highlight was that please add your details to the contributor summit, which is basically talking about the future of our projects and the sub-projects. So if you can add details there. Also, the ask will be that you have some representative that can explain the details of why these things are important. I don't just want to like regurgitate like a generic roadmap, because this is part of like getting new contributors involved. So I'd like to outline what are the primary user stories and why it's important to your roadmap. So that way it kind of can, if people are new to the community, which, you know, the contributor summit is a large swath of folks who are relatively new, then get an understanding of like, okay, this project is going in this direction. That sounds kind of cool to me because I can resonate with that user story. So that's kind of my ask, and I figure by next time, next SIG meeting, we can walk through the details. But we're going to definitely have a hard stop, not by the next SIG meeting, but the meeting after that, because that's when KubeCon's going to be. So, sound fair? Silence is acceptance.
Just one, where would you like us to fill out our roadmaps? In our own repos or in some central place?
No, there's a doc up here,
Got it.
Contributor Summit, and I will link it again in that statement down below. Here. And if you can fill in the details in this doc, we will take this doc and turn it into some form of PowerPoint goodness or some slideshow. Are there any other PSAs that folks want to talk about? There's one other general PSA that I'll mention, is that I am doing a lot of owners files pruning. So I was going to update and see if I can centralize aliases for cluster lifecycle in the main KK repo, and see if we can resonate that back into the KORG stuff too. So I'll be doing that. I don't think it'll affect anybody. It's just going to be shuffling things around so it uses more aliasing. So that's just a PSA.
Also, if I may interrupt for a quick, for another quick PSA. So hi everyone. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Jorge Alarcón. For this cycle, for this release, Kubernetes release cycle, I'm one of the shadows for the release lead. And we're just making the rounds, introducing ourselves to all the SIGs. And another general announcements, this release cycle 117 is going to be a lot shorter than usual because of holidays and conferences and all that. So the enhancements deadline is going to be October 15, a little less than, I forget what day it is, about a week for all enhancements to be in. And other than that, we just want to, we, the release team and the whole release lead team, want to make ourselves available for anything that you all need, any questions, yeah. And that's it for me. Thank you.
Any questions for George? Any other PSAs before we move on? Going once, twice, 3 times. All right, so as part of the standard C cluster lifecycle call, we do the round robin on some project updates. So do you want to kick us off, Daniel?
Sure, yeah, still working on the end-to-end test. I'm just figuring out I've been trying to test a Prow job locally. Ran into a couple issues around there, but I got some help in the channel. Hopefully get that going today. So that's really that's the hard part, I think.
Great. Are there any calls to action or things you need help with, or things that we can help you with, or because you have a broader audience here? So
Yeah, if something that you know that we met with when we met and talked about etcd-ADM and kubeadm that happened you know a few weeks ago. Yeah, it would be good to, I guess, circle back on that conversation. And then in general, if you know if there are people that are interested in etcd, interested in the new functionality, you know, in etcd 3.4 with the non-voting members, you know, if you're interested in contributing, please reach out. Yeah, that's it. I think. Justin, anything you want to add?
No, you did a great job.
all right, any questions for Daniel? Once, twice, 3 times. Lubomir, kubeadm.
So I'm just going to give a quick update on the caps that we merged or we are still about to merge. So the first one is something about component config management changes in kubeadm. It still needs discussion. This one is by Rusty. The second one is by Ed Bartosz, and this is about machine readable output. We finally merged this cap as, I guess, implementable. Possibly alpha in 1.17. It's still not clear what kubeadm commands are going to support machine readable output. The last one is a kubeadm operator cap. Fabrizio started prototyping this in the kubeadm repository. And any questions about the caps?
If you're interested, please take a look at the links provided, and your feedback is always solicited. Any other questions? Going once, twice, 3 times. Next up, cluster API. No name. Who's going to do it?
I wrote this. I can do it. So we have a lot of releases here. So make sure to update to get all the bug fixes that we fixed in this cycle. We have copy 024, which has like a lot of bug fixes and a breaking change. And this breaking change actually changes the leader election. So you will need to do an action, which is detailed in the release notes. Same goes for the kubeadm provider. We have some bug fixes lined up, and also the same breaking change for lead election, and Kappa as well. Same things. For the next cycle updates, we have a lot of proposals that are work in progress, and we're looking to have PRs open by the end of the month. We're working on control planes, upgrades, the testing framework, machine pools, and node remediation. And there are also other things that are in flight, like making the cluster object required and so on.
Any
That's all I have.
questions? And Chuck's mentioned that the Quebec, I don't know how we're going to pronounce these things.
Yeah, Quebec, that's right.
Quebec now supports external FCD. Are there any other questions for cluster API crew? Once, twice, 3 times. It looks like add-ons Lee would miss today. Justin, did you want to give an update?
Absolutely, sure. So I think Lee put in the notes that we had a great discussion last Tuesday, I guess, which was, so there's some work to figure out how kubeadm is going to, or how kubeadm could consume these add-ons. I would actually highly encourage people to look at the video because it is really interesting to see and to think about. And if I recall correctly, Lee was pulling from Git. So that's really interesting, as well as like potentially we talked about other sources like image repositories is a common one that keeps coming up. So we're really, I guess, trying to get those add-ons into a couple of key users. Kops and kubeadm are the two which we are focused on primarily, but that is mostly because those are the two which the people are most familiar with. So if there are others, we would love to speak to them. But yes, hopefully we'll continue to make progress on that and actually have some at least straw man integrations going.
Yeah. I believe that the initial integration is proposed as a feature gate for possibly 117. Is that correct, Lubomir?
I don't think we should even include it until until we have a clearer picture around upgrades, because that's one of the missing aspects of this. We have to include information in the KEP on how are we going to manage upgrades with this tool. Lee promised that he's going to do it.
Right. Any other comments there? Going once, twice, 3 times. I don't know who can, if anyone here can do an update with regards to component configuration. I did see that there's been a lot of folks who have been interested in it and have been starting to get engaged there. Is anyone on the call able to give an update?
I mean, I think both Michael and Lee cannot join today. I can give a quick update. Basically, let me check what they wrote first. So they're enabling strict codecs in kubeproxy and the kubelet. It's similar to our strict deserializer in kubeadm that feeds warnings, you know, but they attempted to enable this in API machinery. And this saw some opposition in terms of enabling it for example, on the kubeproxy v1 alpha 1 or the kubelet v1 beta 1, because even if these configs are not final, they are still used in production. So there's discussion around that. Jordan has comments. Maybe a mailing list discussion is going to spawn pretty soon, because they want to get more feedback from that, from folks in the community, like what is the policy around strict codecs in general. They also started a mentorship program, and nowadays I'm seeing more people joining the calls, which is great. But I really don't have more details on the program itself.
I'd be very interested in hearing what the results are and how things went. I think maybe we can talk about that next time around. Are there any questions? Going once, twice, 3 times. All right, Thomas, thank you.
Sure. So one of the major issues we've been bumping into lately has been signing. macOS Catalina, which was just released, is forcing some new signing requirements. Not all of them come into play until early in the year, early next year, but it's already affecting some users. We also haven't been able to push our binaries to the Kubernetes apt-in yum repository. We would like to do that so that users can auto-update their Minikube installations. There's a quirk in that right now, releasing signed binaries to those repositories requires a Googler to sign them, which is kind of annoying, even if I am a Googler. So yeah, we're still trying to work out with SIG release on how to push to those repositories. We did recently land some translations, and that's all the exciting news. I guess we have a release in about 2 weeks, full of bug fixes.
Any questions for Thomas at all? The Minikube? Once, twice, 3 times. Right. Next up, COPS.
Yes,
Justin.
thank you. Nothing too surprising, I hope. We released our 1.14.0, and so we should be at this pace caught up at Kubernetes 1.17. Caught up is releasing the alpha at the same time as or making the alpha or beta available at the same time as the Kubernetes release. We are enjoying our multiple branch strategy where we have like the 1.14, 1.15, and 1.16 branches all open and separate. That seems to work really well for ensuring that the actual release, although trailing, is a good one, and it also lets people get their changes in quickly. It would be great to be able to continue that when we catch up, but we're not really sure exactly how we would do that. But in general, we are like agreeing our releases every 2 weeks and more or less sticking to them. We don't yet have our automated build process, but I am the person that pushes the buttons, acts as the monkey for the agreed releases, which is, at least in the interim, seems to be giving people more predictability.
With your multiple branch strategy that you have going on, do people actually vendor from COPS at all, out of curiosity?
People don't tend to vendor. People tend to fork more than they vendor, is my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure when they fork which branch they follow. I guess it will probably differ for different people.
I asked because I read Chuck's proposal this morning with regards to Go module support using subders versus major branch strategy, and I was kind of curious if anyone else has broached this topic.
We have yet to. I don't know of any I've yet to hear of it from any users, so I don't know of it, at least for COPS.
Okay. Any other questions for Justin? Going once, twice, 3 times. I see Chuck furiously typing.
Yes, trying to hit the deadline. Yeah, I just wanted to spread this out. I sent this to the Kate's, or the cluster lifecycle mailing list. It's a proposal for moving to major versions for the Go libraries in cluster API, using major subdirectories, but that's not really a sticking point. We can, if we decide branches are better, then branches are fine too. But there is a current discussion going on about which makes more sense, branches, subdirectory, and just kind of the whole topic in general is up for debate. Any input there would be really cool.
Any other topics or agenda items or questions, comments, complaints, concerns that folks wanted to discuss? We got everybody here? Otherwise, we get a whopping 40 minutes back. Going once. Oh, my camera's off. Twice. 3 times. All right. Well, that ended early. Thanks for the updates. Again, as a PSA reminder, please add in your roadmap ideas and details. But again, try to stress the why it's important, what are the user stories behind it, and hopefully next time we will dispense with the status updates and talk more about roadmap so we can lead into the contributor summit. All right, thanks everybody.